Hi. I hope that your work on your burrowing animal book has been coming along really well. And at this point, you should have your first page, which we did was the body page. So we did a diagram and labels. You should have that one finished up. And the second page we did was about the diet. So we wrote a fact or two and added a picture to that page. So those two should be finished. If you're not finished with those two, it's not a problem. You can either go ahead and pause this video and keep working on those pages and come back to this one when you're ready, or you can go ahead with this one and then just know that you'll have to finish up the others at some point. Today, we're going to work on the habitat page. This is interesting because we know that all of the animals we've studied burrow. So we might tell a little bit more about the habitat. Is it along a river? Is it in a desert? Is it in a forest? Or we might tell why the animals burrow. Like, why does the pink fairy armadillo burrow? So any information like that we can add to help our audience understand the habitat of our animal would be really useful. So I did the same thing that we've been doing all along. Jotting, I kind of love that word, I keep using it, I guess. Jotting notes about the habitat of the pink fairy armadillo. So I went through my research and wrote down the facts. And it's not my neatest handwriting and not my neatest pictures because it's just quick. And I'm going to eventually just erase this. And I'll just pull my information from this. So it's okay for it not to be your neatest on this. There's a time and place for everything. And this is probably the one time when I'm going to say to you, it's okay to not do your neatest. Okay, so here, let me just tell you the facts that I found out about the pink fairy armadillo. So I found out that they like to live in the desert areas of Argentina. So really dry, sandy areas. And here I kind of drew a picture of a desert. And I read that they live in the dry areas because if they lived in a really wet, rainy area, it could flood their burrows. And in fact, when a storm comes, they come out of their burrows. They prefer loose, sandy dunes because that makes it easier for them to burrow. And I read that they spend almost their entire life burrowing. And now one of the reasons that they burrow is because, remember I had taught you last time what their primary food is, and that's ants. And so one of the main reasons that they burrow is to find ants and other insects if they can't find ants. And then if they can't find any insects and they're really hungry, they will eat some roots and maybe some worms and things like that. But really, they mostly rely on eating insects. Oh, and I wanted to show you a picture of one again. And this one is a little bit cut because I cut out a picture from it. But I want you to see this picture. Holy moly, look at those claws. And these animals are adapted for burrowing. So they're going to spend most of their time burrowing. In fact, because of these giant claws, it's hard for them to just walk regularly without burrowing. So if they're just trying to walk across the top of the sand like that, it's a little bit challenging for them. I can imagine that with like huge claws like that. So they're really built for burrowing. Okay, so that's a lot of information about their habitat. Now I have to pick some information out and put it into one or two sentences to add on my habitat page. So let me see. I think it's really important to say that they live in dry areas. Oh, and if you don't know, Argentina is south of our country. It's in South America. So it's south. Let's see. So I want to say that they live in dry areas. And I think I also want to say that they prefer dry, loose, sandy dunes. And I might want to add that they burrow to find food. Oh, okay. So let me think about how I should write that. That's a lot of information. I'm going to try and get that down into a couple sentences. So I think I'm going to say they live in dry, they live in dry, sandy areas. I might do 3 sentences. Let's see. They prefer loose sand dunes. I'm going to write, they prefer loose sand dunes. They live in dry, sandy areas. They prefer loose sand dunes. And I want to write why they burrow. That seems like a really important fact to teach people. They burrow to find food. They burrow to find food. Okay, so now I've told a little bit about the type of habitat they live in and why they burrow. The next thing that would be important to do is add a picture. Okay, so this time I did find some pictures that I could cut out and use. And I won't have you watch me glue them on, but if you're using pictures that you find, you'll want to glue them on. Okay, and so when I'm thinking about gluing it on, I would think about how to fit these so that they look really neat and tidy. And I would try and center them or arrange them in a really pleasing, nice way. So you can see that this picture matches my words that say they live in dry, sandy areas and they prefer loose sand dunes. You can kind of see some dunes, and this shows like a desert, so it's kind of like a sandy, deserty area. And this shows them underground burrowing, and they burrow to find food. Hi. Oh, I'm so excited to see and learn about your animals and the kind of habitats that they live in. So again, if you don't have a picture, okay, that you can cut out, you can follow the process that we've talked about before for drawing a picture, which is use a pencil to draw it and sketch it, trace it in marker, and then color it in with crayons. And I can again include the picture that we used last time, and I'll just show you that board quickly. Okay, so here's the step. If you don't have a picture printed out, these are the steps that you can follow when drawing a picture of the habitat. So use a pencil to sketch, use a marker to trace, and then color with a crayon. Okay, you have some work to do. I can't wait to learn all about your animals. See you next time.